On the special occasion of Gita Jayanti, I will delve into 7 of the most important teaching which contains the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. These 7 gems of knowledge can uplift our mind and transform our life.
Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama payino nityaha tanstitikshasva bharata.
O son of Kunti, the contact between the senses and the sense objects gives rise to fleeting perceptions of happiness and distress. These are non-permanent and come and go like the winter and summer seasons. O descendant of Bharat, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
Sri Krishna now says that this happiness and misery, the experience of it, is temporary. God has fitted 5 senses into this body. Now these senses hanker for their objects. The tongue hankers for pleasurable tastes. And when you give it the object of its desire, you give it the chocolate, there is a temporary experience of pleasure. And the experience of pain is the same. It is just the senses coming in contact with an object that is not favorable to them. And this leads our mind out of control. But to achieve anything, you have to learn to control and to tolerate these urges. The more you give the objects of the senses to these senses, the more their desire keeps on increasing. And that desire does not give you happiness, it only ignites a fire and keeps you discontented. These senses are cheaters. They will always hanker for their objects. Learn to tolerate the hankering of the senses, and slowly these desires will die out. So Sri Krishna is giving Arjun these words of wisdom. He says, Arjun, learn to see this happiness and distress as temporary experiences, not permanent experiences that will come and go. Like the day will be followed by the night, like the winter will be followed by the spring and the summer and the autumn. In the same way, these pleasurable and painful experiences will come and go. A person of knowledge learns to tolerate both the positive and the negative perceptions.
Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuhu ma te sangotsva karmani.
You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, nor be attached to inaction.
Sri Krishna says, Arjun, learn to do your duty without attachment. He is now explaining the science of work, Karma Yoga. People ask that if we become spiritual, Swamiji, then will we also have to give up our work? No, that's not what the Gita is all about. The Gita is not teaching us to give up work. It's teaching us how to change our attitude to the work, the consciousness we bring to it. What was the difference that came about? Not the work was just the same. The difference was in his consciousness, his attitude towards that work. Earlier, he was looking upon this war as an opportunity to take vengeance upon Duryodhan and win back the throne of Hastinapur. After hearing the Bhagavad Gita, he is detached. Doesn't matter, many kings came and went. It's not going to lead anywhere. But I have to do my duty, and let me do it as a service to God. The internal attitude changed. So Karma Yoga involves a change of consciousness. Towards what? Towards the fruit of our work. We are working in material consciousness for the fruit, that I will get the fruit of my work for my enjoyment. It will make me happy. I will get this, prestige, money, comfort, whatever. So the goal is our attachment to the fruit. Now you change that. The fruit is not for me. Then the fruit is for the pleasure of God. Just bring this one change. So you're still working, but for His pleasure. The work continues, the consciousness has changed. So you, Arjun, are entitled. Karmanye vadhikaraste. You have the adhikar to do your work. Nobody will take it away from you. Ma phaleshu, not the fruits, they are for God. So whether they are good or bad, don't bother. Did you put in your best effort? I did. Fine, good enough. That's all your duty is. You put in your best effort, bas. The results are for God, right? So let them be however they are. So with this philosophy, immediately releases us from all kinds of tension, while yet putting in our best efforts. So Sri Krishna says, Ma karma phala heturbhur. Don't think that you are the doer. Develop this mentality. God helped me along. He gave me the energy. Others helped along. In other words, don't develop the pride of doing anything. So when you start thinking, He is the source, I am just the instrument, that pride of doing will also go. So in multiple ways, this verse is applicable and beneficial to all who are working in the world.
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्.
O descendant of the Kurus, the intellect of those who are on this path is resolute, and their aim is one-pointed. But the intellect of those who are irresolute is many-branched.
See, we have come to this point that you need to give up attachment. Now, this attachment to the world happens in a variety of ways. One is positive attachment. The object of your attachment, the wife or the husband or the children or the parents or the ice cream or the chocolate, the mind keeps going there. Again and again and again. Sitting here, if your mind is repeatedly going to chai, so you can understand the mind is attached to the chai, the tea. That is why the thought of the tea is coming again and again. But that is positive attachment. The scriptures say even if you are negatively attached, that is also attachment. In other words, if there is hatred, whom do you hate? You know, that fellow, he did bad to me 3 years ago. So, listen, he's so bad, he's so bad, he did this to me, he did this to me. Now the same bhajan kirtan is going on. Just like in positive attachment, your mind goes there, similarly in hatred also your mind goes there. So whether you love the world or you hate the world, either way the scriptures say your mind is attached. Or you fear the world, or you envy the world, or you detest the world, or you loathe the world. All this is different forms of attachment. So detachment means neutrality. Sri Krishna says that in order to develop that kind of detachment, Arjun, you will need to have a resolute intellect. In other words, your intellect will have to tell you, be firm in this knowledge, the world is not mine. The world does not have the happiness that I want. That is vyavasayatmika buddhi, resolute intellect. The moment the intellect makes that strong decision, the work is done. The intellect rules the mind. God has bestowed the human intellect with the power to control the mind if it so decides. If somebody can strengthen that decision, intellect will be one-pointed and the mind will come into focus. You will shoot towards the goal like an arrow.
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषुपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति.
While contemplating on the objects of the senses, one develops attachment to them. Attachment leads to desire, and from desire arises anger. Anger leads to clouding of judgment, which results in bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, the intellect gets destroyed. And when the intellect is destroyed, one is ruined.
Vedic psychology focuses on the afflictions of the mind like anger, greed, desire, hatred, etc., and the causes for them and the solutions for eliminating them.
So here Sri Krishna has given a detailed analysis of the functioning of the mind. You read all of Western psychology, you will never find as penetrating and comprehensive an analysis as what these two verses contain. Sri Krishna says, when you repeatedly contemplate there is happiness somewhere, your mind becomes attached there. Whoever thought happiness is wherever, sufficient number of times, that person became attached to that object or personality. And from attachment came desire. And from the fulfillment of desire came greed. And from the unfulfillment of desire came anger. Anger will lead to illusion. Illusion will lead to bewilderment of memory. Bewilderment of memory will lead to ruin of the intellect. And when the intellect is destroyed, that soul goes straight down to hell. It all started with contemplation. Arjun, dhyayato. So, how do we get rid of this? Why do we contemplate that there is happiness anywhere? Well, you see, the thing is, the desire, the yearning for happiness is intrinsic to our soul. We are tiny parts of the ocean of bliss who is God. So it is our intrinsic nature to seek bliss that nobody can cut. How do you save yourself from this? What is the escape route? Now repeatedly contemplate. There is happiness in God. Repeatedly bring this thought to your mind. There is happiness in God. There is happiness in God. There is happiness in God. Is the reason why this desire for happiness exists. When you repeatedly contemplate there is happiness in God, you will become attached to God. And when you are attached to God, you will develop the desire for God. It will purify the mind because the object of desire is all pure. Repeated thinking brought us to our present state. Repeated thinking will take us out of it to the purified state.
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे.
The soul is neither born nor does it ever die, nor having once existed does it ever cease to be. The soul is without birth, eternal, immortal, and ageless. It is not destroyed when the body is destroyed.
So Sri Krishna is again telling Arjun that the soul was never born. And upon the death of this body, the soul will never die. We are all scared of death. Why are we all scared of death? Have you thought? Because we are identifying with our body. We are thinking, I am the body. So, when the body dies, we think, I am going to die. This is a defect of the material intellect. The Yoga Darshan calls it abhinivesh. Because of the nivesh, the identification with the body, you are fearful of losing the body, and hence the fear of death. And the God realized saints, they are beyond this fear. What is the reason why we all want to live? Is there any plausible explanation for it? The explanation is very simple, really. We are all tiny parts of God, and God is eternal. He has always existed. He will always exist. There was no beginning to His personality. There will never be an end. That's the definition of God. Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. So God is eternal. We are tiny parts of God. So being His infinitesimal fragments, we naturally wish to be eternal like Him. It's our inherent nature of the soul to seek to be eternal like God. And the soul is in fact eternal, but because we are in the bodily concept of life. So that is why we experience this phenomenon of death. And that phenomenon of death goes against the intrinsic nature of our inner being, the soul. So that is why we rebel against this idea of dying and we wish to live. So Sri Krishna is saying, Arjun, the soul never came into being. With the death of this body, it will not die.
देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति.
Just as the embodied soul continuously passes from childhood to youth to old age, similarly, at the time of death, the soul passes into another body. The wise are not deluded by this.
If it is a fact that we are eternal, then logical conclusion is that we existed even before birth. And the second logical conclusion is that after death we will continue to exist. That means we came from somewhere and we will go somewhere. It means we had a birth before this and we will have a birth after this as well. Scientists will tell you that the body undergoes a constant process of regeneration. The cells die out, new cells take their place. So what you are thinking as your body is in a state of dynamic flux. Within 1 year, 98% of your molecules, body molecules, have changed. And yet we say, I am the same person. Intuitively, we all know that despite this continuous change taking place at every moment, the I is not changing. That I, which is unchanging within, is the soul. And Sri Krishna says, Arjun, you are seeing it in front of your eyes, that the soul is passing through so many bodies. Similarly, tatha dehantara praptir, in the same manner, when this body becomes dysfunctional, when it is no longer fit for the soul to stay, when there is too much of pain, disease, misery, suffering in this body, the soul will reject this body and move on. So, that is the process of rebirth or reincarnation, and we, the soul, do not die upon death. We are eternal.
कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयस्य निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
I am confused about my duty and am besieged with anxiety and faint-heartedness. I am your disciple and I am surrendered to you. Please instruct me for certain what is best for me.
Arjun's confusion increased to such a peak. He said, I would rather beg than fight this war. My skin is all drying up. My tongue is burning. Oh, Shri Krishna. But finally, in that confusion, he makes the proper move. He surrenders to Shri Krishna. He says, Oh, Shri Krishna, I am taking your discipleship. I am offering myself as a student. You are the enlightened Guru. Please instruct me on what my duty is. See, what a simple way for welfare. What is that? Our intellect is all confused. Then take the help of a superior intellect. We all want happiness. Now, there are two pathways to happiness. One is called Shreya and the other is called Preya. Preya is that which is sweet right now, but it becomes bitter in the end. In other words, that kind of happiness that is very gratifying in the present, but later on it brings misery. The elders are teaching the pathway to Shreya happiness, long-term welfare. So out here, Arjun has realized his goal is not prayer, not immediate resolution of this situation. Oh Shri Krishna, what is the Shreya path out here, which will lead to eternal welfare? I am surrendering my intellect to you. So if we want spiritual welfare of the soul, we should be surrendering our intellect. Guruji, I do not know what is right, what is wrong. You please tell me. Now, if we accept that with humility, then we accept the teachings of the Guru, and that is the path to welfare. So, Arjun has reached this point that he has surrendered to Shri Krishna. Oh Shri Krishna, I have no understanding of what my duty is, but in my humility, I am approaching you now, not as your friend, not as your cousin brother, but as your disciple. Please enlighten me.
To watch individual shlokas with full commentary, check out the other videos in our Holy Bhagavad Gita YouTube channel.